Dear viewers, I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, I will discuss about how to perform two different database SQL operations on the same MySQL table using Hibernate environment in Eclipse IDE. For implementing the Hibernate environment in Eclipse IDE, if you refer my previous video in the Java playlist, you can identify the video tutorial with respect to have the Hibernate environment in Eclipse IDE. So you can find the resources also for having the Hibernate environment. So now I move to this tutorial. So as I said, in this tutorial I will discuss about how to have the two different operations like insert operation and also select operation on the same table which is present in the MySQL database. For having the Hibernate environment, yes, we need to have these classes and also their respective objects to use in our application code. So here you can see that configuration object or class which is required to access this Hibernate configuration file where I have what the MySQL driver information, then the database information and the security information for connecting to the database. At last you can see one more XML tag, that's about what actually object relation mapping. So we mapping the object class, that is what user.java, to my table which is what users. Okay, so this table will be mapped to my object class, that is what user. Okay, so here this can be this Hibernate configuration file can be accessed through this configuration class. After then you can find session and session factory classes which help the Hibernate environment to take the session objects to perform the database operations on the table. So that means what, having the JDBC program that takes a session to interact with the database. Then you can see the transaction class which has the methods to perform like commit operations. That means instruct the database to do certain signals, in the sense taking the data and also close the data which is what present in the table. That means commit, revoke, like that we can take the operations in the transaction. After then the persistence method which is required to have the persistence data to my MySQL table. For the case this class is required. Okay, this package is required. After this you can see as my word, I have made the list of operations like insert, then display table, and third one is what, exit operation. That means terminating the program. To collect the dynamic input with respect to the different choices, I am using a scanner class. This scanner class also will be used to have the input for my insert operation. Okay, so after this I am giving a message to the user that enter what the choice they needed. After then it will be taken into my choice variable using the next int method in the scan class. So afterwards you can see that, so this is now not required. It is about what the status of the Hibernate environment and also the file which is what accessed or not. So now directly we can come to these lines. So Hibernate objects. Okay, so here only you can find the level by level the objects will be used as like what we take in the JDBC statements. So now you can see that the configuration object, so the new configuration.configure method that will be used to access Hibernate CFG file. Okay, that loads that file and also access the XML tags to take the the Hibernate configuration to my program. Then session factory object will be created for that particular configuration what I given. That means what, the MySQL database and also that will be taken into the session factory for having the session objects for the sessions. Okay, session factory, you can see that. So factory.open session, that will be given to what, the session object which is created. After that one, the transaction object will be created for what, the session object. So once the session object is created, then only we can have the begin transaction. That means what, the table which is open for performing the database operations to the MySQL table. So now you can see that after then you can see that is what, an infinite loop. So it is for what, displaying the choices again and again for until the user wants to terminate the program. So after then what is the choice we have taken? Okay, So you can see that, okay, int choice next like that I given. Okay, this we can give it here also. Okay, so here also we can give that one. So we can take the input. After then what happen is it will be taken. So now I can remove these lines here. No, yes, but actually, yeah, you can see that. So this choice will be given to the switch choice. After then the corresponding case block will be executed according to the choice. So the choice one, I mean the case one, it is given for what? Insert operation. For performing insert operation, I need to take the two inputs. One is what actually the name of the user, then another one is what the email of the user, because these two are mandatory fields in my users table. The first column ID, which is what actually an auto increment type of column, so it will be incremented automatically, so no need to have any dynamic value from the user. So I'm taking the input through se next. Okay, that will be given to the method set name, which is present in my object class. As like that, I take the mail for the user and it is given to the set email method to my user object. After then only here you can see that these two statements are very important to perform the insert operation. So session dot persist of u. So here only we supply the object u, which will be given to the session object. So where the transaction will be happen on the table. So after performing, that means the after having the insert operation, because the persist operation, which is gives the signal to the Hibernate environment, perform insert operation on the table, which is accessing the properties through the object that is present in the u. Okay, afterwards tx.commit. So it's about what actually once the transaction is over, it has to be what completed. Okay, that means the checkpoint should be made. For the case only tx.commit will be given to state that the transaction which is over. Okay, so afterwards what happen is in the case 2 we have what the statements with respect to perform the select query in the same MySQL table. So when user select the case 2, what happened in the sense we creating a list template object, that is what actually in the name of entity, but its type is what actually user here is what actually the object, that is what we have in the class like user.java. So this is what the object to be accessed, so that is the type we have to use it in the list template. So after then what I'm doing is session.create query. So create query, it's about what actually what you need. Okay, so from user, that is what the table name we have to provide here from user. Then you have to give the ORM class, that is what object relation mapping class, that is what user.class. Then the list will be used to what prepare the result and also store it to entities. After having that, we have to use a for loop. So where you can have, that is what actually for each loop type. So user entity then entities. Okay, so entities, it is what having the result set that will be given to entity one by one, because entities means what the collection. Okay, that will be supplying one by one to the entity object, where we have the toString method. Okay, the toString method which is present in my user.java. You can see that actually I have built my own toString method which is overridden from the object class. So here I am giving the data how it has to be taken into my code. Okay, taken into my result. So system.out.println entity.toString. So after this, when we execute that, what happens is it will display the complete records which are possible, which are available in the table. Okay, then case 3, which is about what actually terminate the program execution. So like this only it is made. So now we move on to the execution part of that. Okay, so now I execute this. You can see, yeah, now it is what having the 3 options like insert, display table, exit. So it is coming with what actually some configuration insertion of the Hibernate. So we can stop this actually. Okay, so first what I need is I want to have the Hibernate data. Afterwards I display actually the choices. Okay, so what I'm doing is I take this output statement. Okay, I take this output statement which is displaying what the different choices the user can select after what the creation of configuration, I mean the Hibernate objects. So now you can see that first of all what happened, this is the Hibernate environment setup information will be given, then our output statements are coming. So now I give like insert option to be executed. So now it's asking me the name. Okay, I'm giving like Dell. Okay, then its mail ID it is asking, so Dell at GM. Okay, so now that is what done perfectly. Now again it is what asking the choice. Okay, so what I'm doing is, so I'm giving like 2. I can get the results of all the records which are present in my table. So you can see that in ID 19, you can see that ID 19 recently what we inserted, it is present. Then again it is giving like enter your choice, so I can give like value 3. Okay, so to exit from the program execution. Okay, that's all, the execution which is what terminated from my program. So afterwards, actually what happened, the sense this output statement has to be printed again and again to make the user to understand what about the choices are available. Else what happened is mistakenly he may choose some other numbers also. So that's why again I'm running this one for your understanding purpose. Okay, so here you can see that, okay, I just give the option like to display table. After displaying the table records, again it is giving like insert display table and exit. Okay, so now I can choose what the value 3 to take that option to execute to terminate the program execution. So that's all about that actually. Okay, so this is what a simple code which helps you to implement two different operations like insert and select statement the same program. So like this we can perform. So we can have a user interface. That user interface can be can supply the data to our Hibernate. Then the Hibernate can feed the data to the table, or it can take the data from the table and also display. So like that also we can able to do it. So in coming video I will discuss about how we can have the user interface based type of executions to the Hibernate environment for performing these kind of database operations. Okay, so thanks for watching this. Please follow this, and also please follow my YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel, and please click on the bell button to have the alerts for the new notifications to take the new inputs of the Java resources for you guys to learn the Java programming. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks once again.